Does this ever happen to you? I feel the need to talk about Donkey Kong. Well, that's what's happening to me, and so I figure why not talk about Donkey Kong Bananza, because there's only so much I can say about Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Okay, I lied. There's actually no Donkey Kong game that I can't talk about. I honestly don't know if it's a curse or a blessing. But all I do know is do not get me started on DK King of Swing. I won't stop. I won't stop. Anyway, welcome to the Nintendoverse. There was a lot to be excited about when it came to the very first Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Mario Kart World, Kirby Air Riders, the console itself, but there was one announcement that got me more excited than all the others. Tamagotchi Plaza's coming to the Switch 2, thank goodness, because I was not convinced that the Switch 1 was going to be able to handle this behemoth of a game. Oh yeah, Donkey Kong Bananza was a pretty cool announcement too, I guess. And by pretty cool, I mean... Donkey Kong finally getting the respect he deserves. Here's the thing, I'm not suggesting that Donkey Kong has been disrespected per se. I mean, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is one of the best games of all time, but it was also the most recent Donkey Kong game for over a decade. Again, Nintendo never completely forgot Donkey Kong. He had a prominent role in the insanely successful Mario movie, he's a playable character in Smash along with countless Mario games, and a lot of Donkey Kong games were playable on the Switch, via ports and through Nintendo Switch Online. But this is Donkey Kong, the character that put Nintendo on the map. I mean, sure, Mario was there too, but he wasn't even called Mario yet, he was called Jumpman, and was the arcade game called Jumpman? No, it was called Donkey Kong! Donkey Kong Bananza is an important step in the right direction for Donkey Kong as a character and as a series. I mean, look at it! Look at this game, it looks so good! And you know what? Donkey Kong himself looks so good. This game is the first significant design change Donkey Kong has experienced as a character since Donkey Kong Country was released in 1994. The design has been very subtly tweaked throughout the years, but for the most part, this was Donkey Kong for over 30 years. Now, it's easy to say he didn't always look like that, because, well, he didn't. But Donkey Kong is currently 44 years old, and for 30 of those years, he looked like this, so it is a very significant change. Also, yes, I know that canonically this is Cranky Kong. Look at me, do I look like the type of person who doesn't know that? And maybe Donkey Kong Jr. is the current Donkey Kong, or maybe it's the current DK's dad, I don't know. Lore is not my focus right now, which is a bizarre thing to have to point out when discussing this. Despite this change being significant, I don't think it is by any means a bad change. In fact, I think it is a very positive change. Don't get me wrong, when this design was first spotted during the official Switch 2 reveal, I had the same reaction as everyone else. It's happening! It's happening! I cannot believe it's happening! Oh, they're showing a new Mario Kart! I've never been so excited in my life! What is that? A lot of people mistook this design for the design used in the movie, which is understandable and potentially concerning. I enjoyed the Super Mario Bros. Movie for what it was, but I do not want it to be mixed in with the games. Luckily though, this is not the movie design. However, it is clear that both designs took heavy inspiration from Donkey Kong's arcade origins, hence the similarities. On a personal level, I am really happy about the design change because I love when Nintendo acknowledges Donkey Kong's origins. Yes, this is Donkey Kong, but this is also Donkey Kong. Yes, I know it's cranky, but he was called Donkey Kong. We've talked about this already, leave me alone. With this new redesign, I feel you get the best of both worlds. Wait, isn't there a song about... You get the best of both apes. One is wearing a tie, the other's just a swole guy. You get the best of both apes. Mix it all together and you know you get the best of both apes. I will never know why I wasn't cast as Hannah Montana, it's a mystery to me. Anyway, that's not the only reason I like this new redesign though. I also like how expressive this version of Donkey Kong is. He seems much more charismatic, and this Donkey Kong design really suits the world they have built around him. And that to me is so important. We first saw this Donkey Kong design in Mario Kart, and yeah, I think everyone was a bit skeptical, but when I saw this design in the game as intended, I loved it. It made sense and I respect it. Nintendo famously does not like to alter the designs of their characters too much, so when they do, there's a good reason behind it. Striking the right balance between familiarity and innovation is no easy task. You don't want to alter the characters so much that they become unrecognisable, but at the same time, you don't want to be so constrained by the past that potentially positive changes are off the table. Donkey Kong Bananza seems to be walking that line brilliantly. It is clear that this is Donkey Kong and that this is a Donkey Kong game, but it is different in the best ways, focusing on mechanics and abilities that make sense for the character that haven't really been explored in this specific way, such as the ability to destroy pretty much everything within your surrounding. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. This is perhaps the strongest character in Nintendo's arsenal. After all, Donkey Kong punched the moon once. Nintendo may want us to forget that, but I'll make sure that no one ever does. Now, I've already discussed how this is the first Donkey Kong game in over a decade, but significantly, it is also the first 3D platforming Donkey Kong game in over 25 years. Donkey Kong 64 was released in 1999, which, if my maths is correct, means the amount of years between these releases is far too long. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Donkey Kong 64 is a divisive title. Being DK's first 3D adventure, it seemed to be generally positively received at the time of its release, but in more recent years has been criticised for its excessive collectibles, frustrating minigames, and how tedious it is to swap between characters in the game. Some have even pointed to this game as being a pivotal point in the downfall of 3D platformers as a whole. So look, is Donkey Kong 64 a bad game? Of course not, it's got Lanky Kong in it, but it is a frustrating game. In my opinion, what makes Donkey Kong 64 so tragic is that at its core, I think there is a very good game here, an excellent game, and a few simple tweaks would highlight that so much. For example, as has been pointed out by many people over the years, the ability to be able to change to another Kong whenever you need to do so. This wouldn't make the game perfect, but it would improve it a lot. I bring this up to explain why I think Nintendo has been skeptical to return DK to a 3D environment. The 2D games have been nothing but praised from their inception to the modern day. The 3D game has been cited as destroying an entire genre of gaming. Now, I cannot stress enough that I don't entirely agree with that narrative, or at the very least, I think it's a massive oversimplification, but regardless, I can understand Nintendo's hesitancy to fully embrace this side of DK. So, why the history lesson? Just so everyone can appreciate this release even more? Well, yeah, kind of, but also just to stress how significant this all is. Obviously this game does not seem to be a direct sequel to Donkey Kong 64, although releasing a game called Donkey Kong 64 2 is definitely something Nintendo would do. But the two games share DNA. They are and always will be related. Donkey Kong Bananza will not only be amazing in its own right, but it may just redeem Donkey Kong 64 in the process. History does not exist to avoid, it exists to build a better future. Hannah Montana. Plus, whilst Donkey Kong 64 released during a time in which 3D platformers were about to die out, Donkey Kong Bananza is releasing as the 3D platforming genre is making a bit of a comeback. I mean, Astro won Game of the Year last year, and it was a 3D platformer. Even Nintendo is branching out from Mario and making 3D platformers like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. 3D platformers are coming back, and Donkey Kong is front and center where he should be. I am a true believer that Donkey Kong, as a Nintendo IP, should have a bigger presence in Nintendo's gaming lineup. I think far too often Donkey Kong gets stuck in Mario's shadow, being treated but nothing more than another playable character in the Mario universe, but Donkey Kong is so much more than that. Before going into the Switch 2 Direct, a lot of people speculated that Nintendo would reveal a brand new 3D Mario game. It all lined up and the timing made sense. When they got to their last announcement and started showing this fun, colourful world, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought this was it. This was the next 3D Mario game. Then, Donkey Kong showed up, and something wonderful happened. Everyone got even more excited. I love 3D Mario games, but I don't necessarily love them because they're Mario games. I love them because they're the best of the best when it comes to 3D platformers. I don't want 3D Mario games to disappear, and believe me, they won't, but I think it's about time they share the limelight. What I'm trying to say is that Donkey Kong Bananza is not just a game, it is an opportunity for Donkey Kong to be bigger than he ever has been before. It's a pivotal turning point in the 3D platforming renaissance. It's the natural evolution of Donkey Kong, and it is exactly what DK deserves, and we can only hope it's as good as DK King of Swing. People be out here looking for the best Donkey Kong game forgetting it already exists. I mean, look at this. Perfection.